that goes into that argument. It's not like war on the Western Front where you can just walk through countries and stuff. Like the United States is so big, we're bigger than most other countries. To try to land, so to try to land an all-out invasion of the United States would be insane. But
yeah, I don't think any country is foolish enough to do that.
And then when you look at it geographically, we're only really our only real threats for invasion would be through Canada or Mexico.
Yeah.
Because we're not really connected to anything else. You know, everything else would have to travel seas. Right.
So they'd have to come. It'd be like every country who wants to do that would have to have their own D-Day.
Exactly.
And who's gonna do that? Who's gonna run up on our shoulders?
Yeah, because you're gonna go through? Because we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. That ended.
Yeah.
But think about it. We have our Coast Guard, which is our first line of defense, and then we also have our Navy on our shores. That's like every major naval base and Coast Guard base. We have a presence.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do we have that, we have missiles. Yeah. We have plenty of nuclear weapons, even though Russia has a couple hundred more than us.
Mm-hmm.
We have an insane.
But even that point is insane because we're the only country to ever use nuclear weapons. But we're also
no other country has used nuclear weapons
because we dropped them first.
Yeah. But that's
and we
the thing.
see what happened.
No other country was willing to drop nukes until we dropped nukes, and now we're on the threat of nuclear war ever since.
We were the first nation to actively develop it and test it first.
Yeah, we dropped it within like 6 months or some shit.
We still haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I heard there's a quote from somebody in the movie that was directly working on the bomb. And I was like, no, don't drop it on Kyoto. My wife and I vacation there. That place is just, don't do it there. And it's just so disconnected from what they were actually doing. People's grandkids and great grandkids are still coming out with birth defects from that.
It's one of the nastiest human atrocities that could ever be committed, and it was only committed by our country. And now we feel like we have the right to police other countries for the production of. No, I disagree.
Right.
I think it's impossible for the only solution to that war to have been researched, developed, and executed within 8 months. That's not possible.
I agree, but I'm saying that the nuke and all of this technology, in terms of human development and what science goes through, it was inevitable. Because physicists had already been going into nuclear stuff before the atomic bomb was developed.
But it definitely could have been avoided. We could have done any other attack.
Yeah, but a bomb,
we could have done anything else.
We didn't just drop one, we dropped 2.
No, yeah, we did.
And it's not like they did it on just the people that, did it to them. They dropped it on innocent people.
Yeah.
People that had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Just families and children. I saw some woman's account of it, her first-hand account, and it was just oh my god, I've never heard a survivor of this bombing talk about this bombing.
And they tested it on their own citizens here on U.S. soil, out in New Mexico. The government does not care about us. So going back to our first concept,
on people in Mexico.
They tested it in New Mexico. You can look that up, dog.
We tested it in New Mexico, but no one's gonna they're not gonna put guys in the middle of a blast.
People are still dealing with radiation poisoning to this day.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
the reason why they dropped it over there is because they said there's nothing but poor people and Mexicans or some shit.
And so people have to deal with the aftermath of just the radiation, not the fact that they got hit with anything, but the radiation effects that got left over. We're a tough country. There's not a lot of countries with history like ours, and it's kind of it's really dark.
And you also have to think that how.
And these are the same people you want to take us. You want to take us to space, dog?
I'm not going to space with these fucking people.
Well, that's the thing, and that's your worldview of the U.S. I have a much brighter worldview of the U.S. despite the fact.
I have a more global worldview of the U.S. I've lived in multiple countries.
And I also have to remember who I am in the United States. Not only did women not get the right to vote until the 1920s, black women still couldn't vote at that time. We didn't get that right to vote until the 60s. So that wasn't that long ago. My dad was born in fucking 64. He was alive when that got passed into effect, and so was my grandma. She was living in a time where she wasn't allowed to vote, and all this stuff. So it's our country's not so far removed from some of the dark shit that's happened. It's getting better, but we still elected Trump.
Yeah, and I do agree that our worldly problems do take priority over space travel. I'm just hoping that we can get into space one day.
I just don't think we should be in space. I think that's a bad thing to hope for.
I think that we are going to fix our problems.
I feel if you studied for it and you did all the space tests, absolutely go to space. me as a civilian, I'm cool on the ground. I'm cool here. I don't need to be
Yeah,
any
you
other
want
shit.
Space Force up there, sure, but like,
Yeah, I don't want to go
I
Space
think there
Force.
should-
I'm cool
I
being
think there
2 boots
should
on the
be-
ground.
I think that humanity should become a species that traverses multiple planets.
I disagree. I think that would be a plague.
Because
It would
again, at the end of it all-
interstellar politics, and it'd be great.
But also, like you
We're
keep
not
saying,
even good at our stellar politics. We're not.
you're saying like the atomic, one of the claims they made was like the atomic bomb was inevitable. Why do we want that to be inevitable on a different planet?
Yeah.
Why do we want the chance to blow up Mars?
Mhm.
If
I'm
we
not
know
saying
that
should blow
we
it
will
up,
pro-
but you have to.
No, but I'm just
disconnect
saying-
If war is
from-
inevitable, if human nature is inevitable, then war on Mars is inevitable too. Why would we
Yeah,
want
war
to?
is
So
never
why should
going
we-
to end.
So why should we put humans on like Mars
Because
to
that's
have
To
it
fight
as
for,
war?
for property that we don't have claims to at all.
Because it's Mars,
just
it's not
wrong
ours.
To exclude humanity from what
Why? We see everything else on Earth is excluded from space. Why is it so wrong to exclude humanity from space?
No, I'm saying, but that's. the
I'd
thing.
argue if we were-
we're going to colonize regardless of everything that's gonna happen. You know, it's gonna. I'm just saying that humanity is a colonizing entity.
All right. Well, you take that manifest destiny, and you can have a great old
But
meal
you
with
can't
it.
just say that it's manifest destiny in the U.S.
That's
either.
exactly what you're saying.
You can't.
Unfortunately,
no.
both of our cultures have not participated in Manifest Destiny.
I'm sorry, but
I'm just saying.
forgive me, but I'm pretty sure slavery started in Africa.
What does that have to do with Manifest Destiny?
It hasn't, but I'm just talking about what you're saying at the moment.
I was just talking about Manifest Destiny.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't manifest West back at that time. I was kind of stuck in the
I'm
South.
just saying
my
that
family.
it's not just America and it's not just white people that colonize.
But also for the whole slavery thing, those people were lied to. They were told by like the people who were getting the slaves, like, yeah, they're gonna be treated just fine, da 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 da, like all these things. Like those people
no, like tribal
had
slavery
expressed like,
was still a thing as well.
yeah, but they were treated different.
I do believe that.
They were treated way different than they were treated when we brought them back to the States. It's like a whole different, like can of worms, like, once they were over the sea lines, like not much could really happen because
Yeah, but
there's no
but
like
cruel treatment
sending
of slaves
messages
still
or sending
happened,
anything.
You know,
So,
Yeah.
just think in terms of biblical
But it-
texts as well.
so Christian, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Okay. So, even getting past Mars, getting past all of it, we get to Mars and we fuck it up there the way we did here because it's inevitable. That's
I
human
don't.
nature.
No. I don't say that destruction is human nature. I'm just saying expansion is human nature.
Destruction
Christian,
is
if
also
war is
human
part of
nature.
human nature, then
No.
so is destruction. They're hand in
See,
hand.
No, it's not. Because I'm saying where it's
Christian,
inevitable
how
we go to
could
space,
war
but I'm
and
not
destruction
saying
not go
it's
hand in
inevitable
hand?
that we're going to solve our problem. And I'm not saying war is inevitable.
You said
Right.
war
You
was
did say war is
No,
inevitable.
I didn't.
inevitable.
No. Sorry, I'm getting
Yes, you
my
did.
words confused. I'm saying yes. No, I agree with that. War is inevitable. Expansion is inevitable because there's always.
So
gonna
then
be
destruction
conflict.
is inevitable too.
Well,
There is
yes,
no
to a
such
certain
thing as a
degree.
clean war. There's
To a
no such
certain
thing as a
degree,
clean
yes.
war.
And I know.
So-
I know what you're saying.
So humor me on this train of thought. We get to Mars.
Right.
We civilize. We do everything we got to do. War eventually breaks out. Nuclear war, whatever. We destroy the planet the same way we did here. So that we just don't have the infrastructure for it. Whatever. And then we go to another planet, and that one's inhabited.
But that's what
Do you
I'm
think
saying. I
human-
don't think we're going to
based on-
destroy Mars if we go to.
Why wouldn't we? Based on everything we know about
Because-
human nature, why wouldn't it
We
destroy
already
Mars
destroyed
too?
one
Because
planet. Why
I
wouldn't we
believe
destroy a second?
That if we're going to go to Mars, if Mars is going to work out, and I believe Mars is going to work out, that means on Earth we'll have a lot more worked out at that point as well.
Do you believe
Earth
that
would
humans
go
would bring
to
an
shit.
industrial revolution to Mars? Yes or no?
Yes, yes, I do believe that.
So the Industrial Revolution and its effects are the same things that have destroyed our planet today that led us to the point where we need to leave the planet.
But I don't think it's going to be industrial in terms of just burning and consuming. I think it's going to be. Once
But
we
what
get
else
to
would
that,
you do?
Well, we would have.
The only other
Mars.
option
It
would be
renewable
what?
energy.
Electric?
Yeah, it would be-
Nuclear? Like
It would be it would most likely be nuclear power and or solar energy because we would be able to get through Mars's atmosphere a lot easier because there's less atmosphere.
Like less oxygen in the atmosphere?
It's just less everything in the atmosphere. Mars has like I think 8% the atmosphere of Earth. So it's
but
just
also at the
super
same
thin.
time, I'm still thinking about getting us to Mars. Like
So-
that's the thing that I'm on because not only okay,
We're
so say they
definitely
make the
getting there.
okay, but so say they make the travel somewhat affordable for all. It's giving plane ticket, right? Like
Right.
maybe you spend $400 on 2 tickets, maybe $500 on 2 tickets, but you need to have like the spacesuits and all of these like requirements.
It would be
Who's gonna
comparable
pay
to
for
the
that?
journey. It'd be comparable to the journey, and I'm thinking space tech and everything would have to become affordable for that to happen as well. Which is why I don't think it's going
Which
to become
might
affordable
not
until-
happen.
No, I think it will be, but you have to think in terms of like the only reason prices will go down is because if they become easier to manufacture or public demand goes up. So I think the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to start strip mining. We're going to get materials necessary to do that, and in doing so, because in order to get presence
So we're gonna
established,
strip mine on which planet?
Mars.
On
It would
Earth?
be Mars. Because we have to dig anyway to get to the geovents that are there, and we have to do a
So
lot. to
already we're
terraform
fucking up
them.
the planet.
We'd have to fuck up the planet a little bit in order to make it.
I rest
better.
my case.
I'm not saying fuck it up in terms of that, but we're gonna have to disturb like the.
But
presence
Brishan,
that's
the
there right
willingness
now.
to destroy or to disturb a whole other planet, what makes you think that we won't just mine it to the bone like we have here?
Because you
There's no
can't-
one to stop them. There will be no limits.
But
Yeah,
because
there
there's no
won't be any
government.
regulation.
I know why. I know why
We don't
would
have like
do
a
that.
space force that governs, all the planets and what we can and can't really do.
So whatever corporation gets up there first has free reign to do
To
it
do
all.
whatever they
necessarily.
want.
I
And what
think-
if they
Why
fuck it
wouldn't
up?
they?
And what if they
Think
fuck it
about
up
what
because
we're
they don't know
doing.
any better?
Okay, I want you to think in terms of like a timeline here. I'm just gonna point some ideas out for you. We get to the moon, we get it in this present established there, we have easier transport because we can use the moon slingshot to Mars, right? Then we get to Mars. Then what's right after Mars? Just humor me.
But like the next planet in the lineup?
No, just the next major thing in the solar system. What's
I don't fucking
between,
know, the
what's
moon?
between Mars and Jupiter? And the moon is next to Earth.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy.
It's the
Multiple
asteroid
planets.
belt.
Word.
It's the asteroid belt. And the asteroid belt, I believe, is closer to Mars than Earth is. And we have immediate access to all of that. And by that point, we get to Mars, we have at least sustainable space technology, space transport, right? We're not going to start mining Mars. We're going to start mining it a little bit, but we wouldn't finish with, like, destroying the planet. We would
Why
expand
wouldn't
to
they?
go. Because
we have the asteroid belt.
Because we have the asteroid belt, and the asteroid
Also-
belt is super dangerous to us, first of all, and it's crazy lined
So because it's
with
so
every
dangerous to
natural
us.
resource we could need.
So then where's all the trash gonna go? Because there's already space junk that we left behind in space just
It would
floating around
probably go in the
aimlessly.
asteroid belt too, get smushed up, and then reincorporated.
So then we're gonna
recombine.
pollute space.
No, because in space it would get, like, you have to think it's like, it doesn't decompose, but everything gets
So we're
mashed
gonna-
up eventually. So it turns-
Eventually, so we're gonna pollute space for the time being, and then cross our fingers and hope that we know when it finally
Space
compresses.
is infinite. If there's no better place to put trash than space, there isn't. Realistically
So-
speaking,
In the long term.
yes.
But if you're talking about colonizing Mars, putting people fully inhabiting the planet,
Right.
the sheer amount of trash there, I don't believe would get ground up fast enough to be renewable. I
No, we would
simply
send
don't.
it into space.
So then we're
Realistically, we would
polluting
s-
space.
But why is that an issue? Space is literally infinite.
Because we only know so much about space. So we're just gonna keep putting shit out in the atmosphere, and if it's not gonna decompress in a quick
No,
enough
not in the
time, what
atmosphere.
happens
We'd
to
put
all of it?
We'd
Just
put it in, like, we'd eject it from the planet space.
So you're talking about one-time use rocket ships. Do you know how much material you'd be using to eject your trash just into space
And you're
with no
getting
way
that.
to claim
You
it back? Like,
You would get that material from the asteroid belt.
And what if it blows something up? Like,
that's
say,
still a finite. Even though there's so much there, it's still a finite amount.
Yeah,
So-
but that would realistically take millions of years because
Not if we're producing. Okay.
I was to say, because from the Industrial Revolution to here, we have produced so much shit.
Oh,
And there's
yeah.
just so many like abandoned buildings and just junk that hangs out around that gets
Yeah.
sent to the ocean, like whatever it may be. But we also have so much space junk from things, you know,
But
going
space
wrong.
junk
Like when
doesn't
they
matter as
sent
long
the
as you get it
Challenger
out
up
of the
or whatever.
planet, you know. Think about it this way: if you launch, I don't get. This is the thing.
Where's
I
she?
think we absolutely
Oh,
should.
Marcy,
produce
get down.
space. Because space is so huge. If we send a rocket with trash on it, we're never seeing that trash again, ever.
Right. Yeah, we're never seeing it again. But just because it's, I mean, you're just doing the out of sight, out of mind thing. We don't know what's gonna happen to it. And
It's
what
gonna
if that
get burned
fucks
to
up?
shreds
That's the same
by
thing we
solar
did
radiation.
Here.
Yeah, it's also the same thing we did here.
But trash doesn't do the same thing it does here in space.
I understand that. But my point was more that if you're producing all these one-time materials just to take your trash out, and you can't really mine it from Earth to transport it over, you might as well mine it from space because you're already out there.
Yeah, and you know,
First
I'm
thing that's
also
going to get tapped
thinking-
is the planet, not the asteroid belt. The asteroid belt will be a safety after we've stripped the planet because we'll have more material already there to produce from there.
I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna switch over to more renewable stuff at that point in time if we get there. You know?
Dog, we're not even switching to renewable stuff now. While
Right, we're
while
not
we have
doing
to
it.
think
Yeah,
about
we've
trying to
been in
get out of
society-
here. Like,
But anything
we've been in
about space
society for so
travel
long,
has
the
to
sun
be
has
as
been here for
efficient as
so long.
possible in terms of, you know, that's why so much gets poured
It
into
would just-
every year. You know,
I would say like even the thought of it, like getting it to be, you know, that efficient would take so long, and I don't think we have that much time left on Earth for them to finally get all of that tech. It's gonna be more like just
you guys can
years
keep
and years
your-
of
your
extensive research.
Extinction event. I'm sticking with me and humanity going to the stars. So I do not want to believe that we're gonna die as a species.
every species dies, dog. They all
I
do.
don't believe. I don't,
Yeah.
I think we're the species that got intelligence and therefore can avert our own death.
Monkeys are going through the Bronze Age right now. I don't think it's just us.
Bronze Age, they're going through the Stone Age right now.
That's still a huge, huge jump.
And I want them to become sentient too, because then all of a sudden we have.
Oh, you've never seen Planet of the Apes.
Well, I have.
Oh my
But I'm saying, I really want there to be a second species that becomes intelligent that we can actually.
I know.
We don't want
I
that.
know.
Humans as a whole don't want that because we're just gonna go to war with them.
We are,
Yeah.
but it's gonna
Like,
end up
still
with
thinking about
peace.
fucking
Someday it's
AI,
gonna be
like,
peace. AI 's gonna be
iRobot
fine.
still,
AI 's gonna be
iRobot
just
still
fine.
scared me straight. Fucking, what was that other one that we saw? That other robot movie where like that guy like won a chance to like go hang out.
Oh,
with-
Ex Machina.
Yeah, Ex Machina. Fucked up.
Oh, Matrix
like-
stuff.
No, not Matrix stuff. 'Cause-
Nah,
Ex
this-
Machina
yeah.
and the Matrix are like hand-in-hand series.
no.
No, you're probably thinking Terminator in the Matrix, which we recently found out was not true actually.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that
it's
woman lied
Deus
about
Ex,
everything.
right? It's Deus Ex Machina, and
No, it's just Ex Machina.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, I think.
Mhm.
okay, maybe I'm thinking of two different things then. But I know that the whole lore behind the Matrix is that there's, you know, the machines, and they're like sentient machines that became a thing, and then they were at war with humans for a while, and then the humans got put into the Matrix as like a compromise to the machines winning the war or whatever. I went into Matrix lore
More or
one
less.
day,
More or
and,
less, yeah. They're
gotta watch
using
the
the humans as
movie.
batteries essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta
original
watch the movies.
concept
They're
was
really
CPU
good.
power, which would have been more believable, but no, they were like, oh no, nobody's gonna believe battery. No one's gonna know about computing sizes, so we're gonna say batteries, and then that doesn't make any sense. And, it makes me so upset. As a
It makes a lot of
science
sense actually when you watch the movie.
geek- right? But it should.
Yeah,
they
they
should
really
have
tie it
reworded
together.
it to computing power and everything than a
It
battery.
was
But-
the 90s. They were still scared of Y2K.
Yeah, yeah, this
They were
was
still scared
pre.
of
Yeah.
technology. I think people are too scared of technology.
I disagree. I think people are just the right. I think people are not too scared of technology at all. We
Yeah.
developed
I believe AI
ChatGPT
is
so
because-
quickly.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I
but
went to a seminar
ChatGPT
about
is
like
not gonna be the end of the world.
no, but I went to a seminar talking about ChatGPT and like education, and I asked a question. I was like, so, you know, the whole thing is, you know, trying to like catch papers that, you know, students are using like AI to write it. Like, what technology do you even have to fact check that? Like, how do you know? Like, how are you going to be able to like genuinely go deep enough to see that this is AI generated? And if you can't answer that question, like if you have no way of checking it, then
it's not enforceable. Yeah.
Then it's not enforceable. So then how are people going to learn? They're just going to AI their way through college degrees and not know anything.
Yeah.
Because Enzo's already starting to do it. And
no, this age of
I'm
humanity is
scared
kind of
that
fucked
Enzo
up right
is
now.
actually using ChatGPT.
He is. Our kids are gonna grow up in a generation that's not gonna be able to differentiate between a computer generated image and like a real one. Like it's already getting really messy.
Yeah, there's already videos out. Like there's some video of like a girl that was AI'd on like Instagram or something. And you can barely tell. Like you have to look so close like to know.
Yeah, it's like the whole accounts that are getting made because people have likenesses, and then that goes into like, oh, well, do people's likeness count as them? And
no, these aren't even like deep fakes. They're
people
just like entirely AI generated like video content of just
I saw
some
one
face
today,
that it put
actually.
together.
It was Heinz Doofenshmirtz singing "Hell's Coming with Me," and it was an AI generated song.
Yeah, those are around too.
Those are pretty funny.
I don't know. I just think AI is something we should definitely be very weary of.
Because it's already progressed so fast, like within the last year, I feel. Which is scary.
I
like,
saw something today actually going over
quickly.
that. Going over how, and it was an argument against like how we're not actually going to create like AI robots like full on. And the reason I think the reason was something along the lines of no one's going to program a machine that does everything when everything needs to have a specific purpose in order for companies to see it as viable. So it's kind of like how we have the machines that make cars. They have AI in them, you know, in order to detect things, collision detection, making sure there's no errors on an assembly line and stuff. They have a purpose, they do it well, and it's profitable, right? What does creating a robot that can do anything, how does that profit anybody?
It profits them because they don't have to pay as much to pay people who would do those same jobs.
So if the AI can be trained to do literally any job, then real people don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, that was an allusion to like civil rights. I think it's a little bit different than that.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree, but I love that game. It's just so cool. But in the game itself, like, you know, it does have little snippets of like, hey, you know, AI or like the androids are taking our jobs because people are just buying androids instead of hiring people to do jobs. I don't know.
I think AI is generally a bad thing. I'm not happy with how things are moving. Doesn't seem right.
We're gonna be a space age faring modern post crazy intelligent species.
I think we're gonna be a species full of hubris.
Oh, always. Also, I'm way more than halfway through this, Yogurt. Sorry to take up all the time with philosophical discussion about Mars.
Happy to talk about it. I like engaging in this stuff.
I do too. I just forget. Like, a lot of times my argument is I just don't want to believe that, which is a very ignorant answer, but it's also more just me hoping that humanity's gonna get their shit together enough for me to see what I dream of becoming true.
And I understand the idealism of it. Like, absolutely, it would be cool. In an ideal world, I would love to go to space. I love the idea of being able to traverse through it. I think with the current systems we have set up, I don't think it's wise for us to do so.
And I don't think it's viable. If they can't even clear student debt.
I was like, if I came up to you guys one day and was like, I got this ticket for us to go and experience zero gravity for like 3 minutes.
Like on
in a
Earth?
simulator?
Like with the planes that just like they go and they drop. And
so there's a company out there, and I can send you the YouTube video later. It's basically a small. They literally send people up into like the lower atmosphere. They don't send them into orbit or anything, right? But they send them just enough like before the Kármán line, where you basically experience 0 G's for a few minutes, and then the capsule will come back down, and it's like parachuted and it's like reusable, right?
So you saw all the shit with Ocean Gate, right?
Ocean Gate's underwater.
Which is the closest simulation we have to.
Not space. Space is the exact opposite of the ocean when you think of what it is.
In terms of pressure, though.
In terms
like,
of pressure,
at least getting there.
Pressure.
But getting there, you know. having to push past everything. Going down is the same thing.
Going down, I think, is harder. Because it's way easier to create something that can hold, like, a vacuum in terms of external pressure. It's very easy to pressurize something than to depressurize something. And in a sub, you have to depressurize it because you have all the pressure around it. Whereas in space, you have to pressurize it, so you have to make it able to... No, wait, reverse that, my bad. But I think it's just engineering-wise, it's harder to do. Because in space, or in the ocean, the pressure's so big that the force around every little atom that you have making up the ship is being scrunched. Whereas in space, it wants to go, it wants to be pulled outwards, but you have the thing containing all the air inside, so it's pressurized and it can contain it a lot easier. You know, there's a reason why on the ISS, you know, I think they've had a couple small leaks in the past, but they can have leaks, right? Whereas if
in space?
Yeah, you can have a small leak. It's dangerous because, yeah, you're losing oxygen and stuff, but you can fix that easily. Whereas you get a crack or you get a leak at the where the Seagate was,
that's what you're
just
saying, yeah.
Bam, that's instant because of...
No, I think we were on the wrong side of that argument now that I'm thinking about it, because the pressure comes from coming back into the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once you push past,
not going up, but coming back down in, that's where all the pressure's coming
It's
in.
kind of like when you're up in a plane, when you know how when you start to make the plane, when you start to descend, and then you can feel the pressure and you're starting to come back.
Oh, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
but that also sends you,
everything gets thinner as you go up.
Yeah, everything gets
That's
thinner.
True. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah. Thin
air, and then vacuum. But so this company basically, and it's like viable enough.
Unfortunately, I would say no though. I'm a big old scaredy cat. I haven't even skydived yet. I do want to go skydiving, but I still haven't even done that yet. I haven't even gone in a simulator about it. So.
I want to go.
I would do the plane one where it's like this plane and it flies out like, I don't remember what the height is, but like X number of height, and then it just fucking cuts the engines. You just fall for a little bit.
Yeah, you go.
And as you're falling, you go into a free fall. Not simulated zero gravity the same way.
Yeah, because
I think I'd pee myself.
You're going. The reason it works is because you're going down in the plane, but because the plane is experiencing all the air pressure and stuff, you're actually just floating within something else that's fighting the gravity or fighting the pressure. So you're just floating within the thing that's falling. So it's kind of an illusion, but it's an illusion that works because you have no sensory input of gravity in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't think I'd like it as much, just because I feel like I would freak out when the plane just nosedives, versus this capsule just gets sent straight up. You're actually looking around at the curvature of the Earth for a second. You're experiencing 0 Gs, and then you just start coming right back down, and there's a parachute attached. And you know that nothing can go wrong with that parachute. Versus a plane can lose our engines, and then you just splat into the side of the mountain.
Yeah, there's basically all I was going with that is that there was a band that they filmed a music video in one of those planes, and they did it all in one take. It's a really cool video actually.
Oh, it is kind of cool.
Yeah, they do all their videos in one take. They're all super like elaborate, like kind of like Rube Goldberg machine type thing. It's kind of sick.
Didn't we watch one of those videos?
Yeah, I think so. Back in the comments.
Those guys?
Yeah, those guys.
I feel like I just saw one recently on my TikTok. They did another one of the things where like you push it and all the shit goes.
Yeah.
Right? Like the puzzle thingy.
Yeah, well, there's those ones, but they also have like, you know the song "Here It Goes Again"?
Oh, I totally.
They did the treadmills. That's them.
Oh wait, I'm trying to see.
But yeah, if you guys are interested in skydiving, you know, we could plan something for you to come out here, since Kansas.
Oh, I think it was this. It was totally this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that one. Yeah.
No, I think you'd really like their videos, dude. You should check them out.
I'll definitely have to check.
They came up on my TikTok. I think they did like a throwback or something like that, and I sat there and I watched the whole fucking thing.
I think their music is kind of mediocre, but when accompanied by their music videos, it's way cooler.
Oh yeah, it's fun. Alright, you guys ready to run one?
Yeah, let's do it. Sorry, y'all have been waiting on me to ready up this whole time.
You philosophical bitches.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I get passionate about corporations
I should have
and
been
space.
recording that. That would have been such a good discussion. Hey, PlayStation. Save the last hour. I can save the last 30 minutes.